Welcome to the Poorly Edited Podcast. And that was the intro. Were you rolling?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Fantastic.
I'm
Chandler Davis.
I'm Patrick Lilly.
I'm Amresse Farrow.
And I'm Gail Hoover.
And we're here at your office building.
Glorious downtown Center Valley.
Yeah, it's a booming metropolis down here.
Center Valley Remix Central Office.
We weren't sure which building, which skyscraper it was.
Everything around here is one story and spread out.
Sparse,
Yeah.
some may say.
Suburb.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So welcome.
Thank you for having us in this lovely boardroom.
It's a little scary because if you miss the turn for this building, you have to go for another 10 minutes, I think,
and we
to get back on track.
We found that out the hard way, some of us. So, but it's all good. We're here now. Gail Hoover, realtor, the founder of the Gail Hoover Foundation, philanthropist.
Yes.
Some may say.
Some may say.
And so you're a very busy person, as we've seen in the very few, events that we've attended with you or outings we've gone on with you. We were at the announcement of your foundation that we filmed at Revel, which is an awesome event that I was not at, but I heard was awesome secondhand. Cool. And it looked awesome in the footage.
Wasn't that cool? Yeah, the saxophone guy there, that was like total great energy on that one.
That was my favorite part of the footage. He was really going for it the entire time.
Yes.
And then we just did a photo shoot with you at the Dime in the PP&L
beautiful
Center.
Space.
It was.
Gorgeous.
It's a beautiful restaurant. I've never been up there.
What a great time. We had so much fun with you and the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very, not what I expected a board to be. I've never met a board before.
Yeah.
And it was...
Never met the board.
Never met an entire board.
You have to pick up that anything that is done with Gail is never like your typical what you would think of.
Right.
It's always fun. It's always engaging. It's always kicked up a notch or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're right. Perhaps other boards may not have been so much fun, but ours is definitely great.
Yeah, they were all very lovely people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but real estate was your first passion. Real estate.
I've been doing residential real estate here in the Valley. It's over 31 years.
Wow.
There are a gazillion people who go out, take their courses, and get their license. Probably just about as many people have their driver's license. But for someone to stay in the business for 31 years through all of the cycles of the market of the economy.
Especially 2008. It must have been a little rough.
Especially at a
major crash. Yes, major crash.
What was that year like?
Sucked.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't just that year. It was like the next 8-10 years, because nothing is so isolated.
There's a
risk. So we're really just coming out of that then, actually?
We are.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't realize how profound the impact on that was.
Well, when you mess up that badly on purpose, like the housing market did, not the banks did. It wasn't the housing market.
Banks, yes.
That you're gonna feel that for a quick minute.
Yeah.
But you're still here. You're still kicking. You're still in the game.
I am still kicking, and I am still kicking it.
Nice.
Yes.
So what is it like being? We have a lot of artists on this show. We don't have a lot of business types. I mean, what is it? Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Some may say. So what is it like to be able to go out every day and with families, with individuals, with people, and showing them beautiful houses and trying to find people their dream homes? What is that like?
All right. Well, when it's showing them beautiful houses,
when that's
because not all the time is it. That's almost like a misconception. Everybody thinks, realtors just run around and show beautiful houses, and sometimes there are houses that really truly need a lot of help. A lot of love. So sometimes we're running around showing those.
Really having to learn how to sell everything,
Yes.
not just the gems,
and
but
appreciate the potential of what could be there, which is actually a great opportunity for sweat equity. So when you buy it and needs help, and then you do the work, you make some sweat equity off the top. So I sell everything, yes, from the real dumps that need a whole lot of help and love, up to the, just as the dream home, the gorgeous done. But it's always just listening to what's important to my clients. When they sit here at this table and it's like, okay, so tell me what's important to you. Obviously you need a house, you need a roof over your head, but now tell me what's really your vision of it all. And then we get to fine tune that and we go find that. It's pretty cool. And actually even the process through looking at houses, things that you think that's important to you, but now you're really seeing it in reality, and you're weighing things in my budget, and maybe I don't need the 3-car garage, maybe 2-car would be really just fine, so it's a whole process that we go through, and I enjoy that.
You love the process.
I do. And because, yes, technically I do the same thing. I've been selling houses, but because my clients are different and their priorities are different, I never really do the same thing twice. It's constantly changing. It's constantly new. The phone call, I never know. Is it come sell, come buy? What are we going to do? And I like that. I like that a lot. Helps me be able to create my business. Never just, okay, this is trudge. This is what I do. It's always creating each day. Wow. So you said you normally have artists.
Yes.
And not entrepreneurs.
Yes.
But I actually think of myself as quite the artist.
I see the parallels you're drawing. Absolutely.
Very good.
No, I love that. I love the fact that, being able to find any, that energy in what you do is very important, because I think there's so many professions that are creative that are not traditionally thought as being creative.
Yes.
Or people who are artists in their own right, just like it takes an artist to be able to see the beauty in even a home that may not immediately seem like that's possible at the moment, and to be able to facilitate that to people. I
One
totally
of the
agree.
things that the projects we've got going right now, when you talk about someone being able to see something, the vision, there's a lot of times where folks come to the end of home ownership, whether that's because mom and dad need to go into assisted living, or the final parent has passed away. But 9 times out of 10, that family home has been the family home for 20, 30 years. And it's amazing how much stuff can accumulate. And a lot of the folks who have raised their families, have lived here, the kids have gone off to DC, to San Fran, they've gone all across the country. So a lot of our elderly here, the kids don't live here, so when the kids get the call, mom can't be on her own anymore, we've got to get her situated in some kind of assisted living, or, the ultimate phone call, mom has passed away. They take the week or 2 vacation, they come in and they deal with whatever, changing, funeral, whatever. Then they go back to their life. And then what happens to the family home that's sitting here? Needs to be sold. But it's not just needing to be sold. It needs to be cleaned out. It maybe needs to have some inspection. A lot of the elderly, especially if it's a woman, is not comfortable with a stranger coming in, a contractor coming in. So there's a lot of deferred maintenance usually with that. Something as simple as, the toilet runs or the gutter, came down. So all that deferred maintenance, who coordinates that getting done? So in my 30 years, I used to give the son, the daughter, here's some phone, here's some numbers, you could call them. But it's tough for them to really follow up to know if the guys got out there and did any work because they're not in town. So then I used to babysit to see if the work was done. So anyway, we've created a whole other ancillary business of helping folks get the properties cleaned out, cleaned up, and ready for market.
Wow.
And we just got called in just before Christmas, December 18th. There was an elderly woman who called the ambulance because she was in a lot of pain. And when they got to the hospital, she needed emergency surgery. She had an ulcer that broke. But she's good. She's all in great shape. But the trigger was when the ambulance went to help her, the house was really in bad shape. Really, there were no utilities in the house, which is amazing that this lady was living in it. So I was asked to please fix this, help her out, make some decisions. And so we have been in the process of cleaning this house out. And when I say clean out, it's first floor and second floor have taken 3 30-yard dumpsters.
Wow.
And a 30-yard dumpster is the size of, when they pull it up on the flatbed, it's the entire length of the bed.
Wow.
And we're not done yet. And then when we get to be able to really see what's going on, I know there's a roof leak. We got to put a new roof on there and stuff. And so that's another piece of my real estate career is helping families when a house like that comes up and oh my word, who's going to coordinate this whole project?
Yeah.
Who's going to do this? So we're in the middle of all that right now on one of the projects.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
That's amazing. Is any of the work that you do pro bono?
No. Pro bono means absolutely not being paid. No, we can't do that. But we try and keep the bill down as low as we can.
Right.
Yeah.
I never realized how many emotions are attached to this business there must be. Because people's lives or memories are
It
tied
is.
to stuff.
It's very tied in, and that's why for 31 almost all of my business is by referral. At this point, if you go to Macy's and you're going to buy a pair of shoes, you don't feel tied in to the person who helped you buy the pair of shoes, right? But I am literally in people's lives, even when I'm helping them buy and listening to them what's important and what do they need and where they work. It needs to be in this location because of where I work, or my parents live over here, or my kids need to go to this school, or so. I learn everything about them to help them get home that'll work for them. And so even going to your hair appointment, most people talk to their hairstylist, you talk about personal, but even they don't even know half the stuff about your life.
Right.
By the time we're done with a real estate transaction, I know just about everything. And what's really cool is because I've been doing this for 30 years, I now, and I don't know if this is cool or what, but the parents that the kids were 12, 14 or so when we bought their house, those kids are now calling me up and saying, "Hey Gail, you sold mom and dad our house," and I'm thinking, "Oh, where is that?" And I will give me the address, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I remember that." And I was like, "Yeah, so my fiance and I, we want to look at houses," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I have a memory lapse here. I'm still picturing you at 15 being a little shit, oh my God, you're ready to buy it. How did that happen? No, Gail, we've graduated college. I have a job. I've created a credit history. No, we can buy a house. Really? How'd that happen? But okay, let's go." So that I almost am when people use the term the family doctor,
right,
or the family attorney. I'm the family realtor.
Yeah.
because you wind up so close.
I've never thought about what a personal connection you actually make with the realtor. And in my head, it was always, you went, you looked at a house, you met them for a few minutes, you finally found the one you wanted, you just signed and left. But really, it can be such an intimate process, and there's a different reason for why anyone is selling or why anyone is buying, and it can be a really emotional or stressful or very happy time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Imagine the stress when, yes, you've put a deal together, and now you're going through your inspections, your mortgage, and all that stuff, and really, seriously, someone's life, their living situation is in your hands. Okay? And then the emotional roller coaster that the client takes, the buyer getting nervous. Oh my God, I've never signed paperwork to borrow $200,000. The seller, is this going through? Isn't it going through? What's going to happen? All of that. I get, as the professional, I get to take that roller coaster ride with them, because they're talking to me, they're telling me. And now imagine that I don't have just one client at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So now multiply that by, depending on where, I could have 6 deals in the pipeline right now, I could have 12 deals in the pipeline right now, and there's 2 sides to each deal. And I get to take the roller coaster ride with each person.
Typically, how long are you with a family or a person when they're selling or buying a home?
Well, there's two time frames. Okay, so the smallest one is once we put an offer in and it goes under agreement. It usually settles within 30 to 45 days, month and a half, maybe 60 days, just because of timing. Okay, so that's small. But how long am I with them? If a buyer comes to me and they've really taken the time to funnel down their vision to what they're really looking for, we can find a house within a couple of weeks, probably just go out a couple of times and we're going to find it. But when a buyer comes to me and says, I want to buy a house, great, where do you want to be? Well, anywhere in Lehigh Valley. Okay, can we fine tune that just a wee bit? How many houses are on the market in the entire Lehigh Valley? Help me out. So then that's somebody who's not so fine-tuned is going to take a while till they figure that out. But most times I work with buyers just maybe a month or two to look, and then we put something, get an agreement together. So it's anywhere from 2 to maybe 4 or 5 months, depending on how long it takes to shop around and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's months. Again, like if you go to get some clothes up at the mall, you're there, an hour maybe?
And you can return them too.
You can return them. Yeah, you can't return the house. No, that's not going to happen. But yeah, it's months,
So you're clearly doing so much work for the community just in the real estate that you do, and you're giving back by providing all of these resources that you have. And how did you get started with the birthday bash? Because you started that 8 years ago?
8, yes.
8 years ago. So you knew a lot of people from the business that you'd been doing all over the Lehigh Valley, and you started this birthday bash.
Sure. Well, the story goes, some people would say.
Some people would say. This is how it went.
8 years ago, we had a winter that, like, every 3 or 4 days, we had snow, we had ice, whatever. And my birthday is in March, so it's the end of winter, and I just had cabin fever, like, get me out. I want to be with people. I need to, let's go have some fun. So simple thing was I created a Facebook event page, and I probably invited like 40, 50 people, thinking maybe a dozen would say, yeah, I think a dozen, that's a good size. We can probably use the back room of some restaurant somewhere and have a nice little dinner. Okay, that's cool. And as the thing got circulated, before we realized that there were 75 people saying that they were going.
Wow.
I didn't realize just how bad cabin fever had gotten that winter. And so if we're going to get that number of people together for an event, we should probably try and do some good with that.
Yeah.
So then it was like, all right, that's more than just the back room of a restaurant. So the bowling alley at 15th and Sumner has a small nightclub at the end that's called Mix. And the manager there I knew. So I asked him, can we do a private party? He's like, oh, we do that all the time. We have all kinds of clubs and stuff come in. Okay, all right, let's do that. So all I thought was, in order to do good, was to raise money, was charge $20 at the door for this party we were going to throw, and then we would just disperse the funds and contribute to the community that way. And all of a sudden, one day on Facebook, all of a sudden a message pops up, and a woman says, I'll donate a basket. For what? Was my response. For
like
what?
Full or empty?
So then she says,
Wicker.
well, you're going to do an auction at this birthday dinner, aren't you?
Okay.
I guess I am now.
Weird flex.
Yes, you know.
Very weird.
So I kept reminding people, like, I'm not really an event planner, you know. I sell houses, people. Yeah. I'm just kind of throwing this thing together on the, you know, on the cuff. So it wound up where we charged at the door. I went around to restaurants in the area, ones that I go to, and asked them to donate trays of food so that we could have some food. People started donating baskets for auction items. Before you knew it, we had a whole auction table set up. And then what I did for entertainment was I didn't want to bring in a band or anything that would bite into some of the money we raised. So I asked some folks to roast me. I thought,
Nice.
that'll be fun, right? I can take a good joke. So, all right. So the mayor at the time of Allentown, I asked him to roast me. I asked Jackie Ferris from 69.
Nice.
And Mike Schlossberg, our state house rep.
Really?
Yeah. And
Yeah, you know, the usual suspects for a roast.
It almost seems like entrapment. It's like you're trying to get him to say something bad.
Well, you have to remember that not only have I been selling real estate for 30 years, and before the bash started, I had served a term, 4-year term on Allentown City Council. So I'd worked with all these folks. So they all agreed, and I got roasted that night, which was a lot of fun. And then everything went out well. Everybody had a good time. And then as the year went on, and we started coming around to the holidays again, and you know, you're out all the time seeing people. People were like, so after the holidays, you're going to do that birthday thing again, aren't you? No. I sell houses. I'm not an event planner.
I have no baskets.
Yeah, really. No need for baskets. And I kept hearing it over and over. And so if an event, especially a charity event, has that kind of support for it, when I'm not even asking for support, I needed to follow through with that. That's how I viewed it. So, all right, we'll do one more. And we did one more. And then the next year, all right, well, we'll do one more.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't get the hint yet. You're like,
no,
I guess
I
keep annually doing this. I guess.
I was fighting it tooth and nail.
It sounds like the way, especially the way that first one went, as you know, since you started with, I'll invite 50 people in a Facebook group to have dinner, and then it turned into what it did. I was there a moment, because this has even happened to me. Was there a moment where you were just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like all these things are happening.
Absolutely.
It's become this thing you didn't intend. You're just like, how did I arrive at this
I'm
point?
missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. And then it really blew up in 17 because the money is divided in half.
Mm-hmm. What are those two charities?
The one portion that stays consistent year after year is a local organization called FACT. And that stands for Fighting AIDS Continuously Together. And they supply emergency funds for folks in the Lehigh Valley. When caseworkers know their clients that have HIV or full-blown AIDS, and there's a hole in our safety net, an example of that is if someone with AIDS may not be working, may not have much income, but they're signed up for all the things that we do have. But they're still able to be in place in their home, and their oil burner breaks down. It makes absolutely no sense for them to lose their home, to have to move out of the house to find some other living thing because a $300 oil burner bill. Makes no sense. So they can make application to FACT. And FACT will try and fund those oopses. There's no other place in our safety net. Those holes. We like to plug the holes. And the ultimate hole is when the patient passes away. We have all kinds of Social Security, Medicare, all kinds of things. But when someone dies, that's a hole in our safety net. So year after year, FACT consistently funds, and it's the proverbial pine box, nothing fancy, just to die and be buried with some dignity. So half of the money goes there. And then we've always given the other portion to an animal, rescue, charity, some kind of animal thing. So we've done the sanctuary at Huffsville. We've done the animal health and welfare over in Easton. We've done no-nonsense neutering. So we've done a bunch of those. It gets changed around each year because there are just so many that you can help with. And in 2017, this idea popped in my head, and I made an arrangement to talk with. All right, somebody's cracking up.
What's going on?
Dude, I tried so hard to not laugh at no nonsense neutering, dude. I tried so hard.
No nonsense neutering.
It's not fair. That's not fair to name that.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry. They're children.
What?
Well, all right. So let's have that conversation.
You put alliteration into anything, it's automatically pretty funny. You know?
Yes.
No, but neutering is important. Spaying and neutering animals is important. If you want to get serious, I'm on your side. Some people would say.
You nailed that recovery.
But actually, it is really important.
It is.
And a lot of times, they don't get pets don't get neutered because it can be so expensive. So the name No Nonsense Neutering, it is a down and dirty clinic. It's nothing fancy. It's in a donated, almost like warehouse building, and the day that's lined up for them to do this,
I'm sorry.
they'll bring in 30 animals. And boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then by 4:00, everybody drive by. It's almost like a drive-by, here's your carrier, here's your carrier.
Wow.
Yeah, these are the pills, these are the medications you need to give them for the next 3 days.
Churning out neuterings.
Yes.
No.
Boom, 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 boom. Neuter and spay.
Now this clinic, right? Is it a clinic? It's a clinic.
It's a clinic.
No, this clinic
setting.
is this no nonsense neutering for animals that are owned or for strays that are brought in?
Actually, both.
Really?
They are part of the program for the feral cats.
Yes.
Where if someone does cage them, does capture, does catch one of them, they can bring them to No Nonsense. They'll neuter them, and then they clip a little on their ear, so that when people see them out, they know that feral cat has been taken care of.
That's something my grandmother actually does, is she tries to catch cats in her neighborhood and get them neutered. Because what you don't really think about is you're like, I don't really care if there are more animals or cats, or in cases of strays. But the more they reproduce and they don't have safe conditions, they they can't in the winter and the summer. They can spread even more diseases.
Exponential, because then they have kids, and then
that's what happens when it cities.
Blows up.
Yeah.
Yes. So laugh as you will. No nonsense.
Not laughing at the concept.
No, not the concept. Just the name kind of made you chuckle.
The name.
I think they knew
They know
that's really amazing. And you're always working on things with animals, so not just things like this, but you've created there's incredibly this animal life-saving kits.
Right, that's what
for
I was
the-
beginning to talk about. In
Right.
2017, I met with Allentown Fire Chief, then Lee Laubach. And I said to him, I said, got this charity thing kind of going here. He's like, yeah, I think I've seen that on Facebook.
Just have a charity.
And I was like, what have you seen? He's like, no, all good. Okay. So I said to him, I said, the animal portion, we've really been thinking about this. What else to do? How can we help in a broader sense? And what I'd like to do is outfit Allentown first responder vehicles with oxygen kits for pets when they get on scene. And he was thrilled because, we're lucky enough to have a line item in our budget for human oxygen kits. So there is no line item for pet oxygen kits. And they've had a kit here and there that they would kind of rotate around as needed. But that's because either one of the guys bought it or maybe a neighborhood group would have like a hoagie sale or something and buy it for them.
And that's not how that should work.
No,
Right.
it's not. It's not. And again, being a city councilwoman, I knew the situation that there was no way that we were going to actually purchase enough to outfit. Because each one of these kits is $100 a kit. And if you can picture a human oxygen mask is almost as if you cupped your hand. And if you've got a dog, that's really not going to
tough.
Right.
Yeah.
So these kits, the large is about the size of a red Solo cup. And then it goes medium and small. The small can be used to save a guinea pig.
Wow.
Really?
Yes. So it's not just cats and dogs. It's
amazing.
pets. It's animals.
That's amazing.
It's yes. But when they get on scene now, if a house fire starts when nobody's been home, the animal's in there. The animal's in there with the smoke, and what are we going to do? So now each one of Allentown's fire, police, and EMS all have the kits.
That's incredible.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
It's another hole that you guys plug that people
It
don't
is.
that people don't think about. The holes you plug are things that you don't think about being necessities. That is something that somebody is going to need. You just don't think about it. You would think it's obvious that someone would take care of some of these things, but it's just not happening.
Right.
And having something like that could save the life of a family member of yours, and many people consider their animals their family member.
Most people are closer to their animals than they are to their other family.
Yeah.
Because, great grandma, you see her on holiday, but your dog, man, it's there every day.
Your dog also, it's very hard to create a rift between you and a dog.
That's
Right. There's no fighting at the Christmas table.
They don't harbor resentment very well.
No.
So it was amazing because when we actually, after the bash, we raised the money, we ordered the stuff, and we presented Allentown with the donations. It was about a week later that they got called into a fire over here on by Dixon Street, by the shelter itself. And they get on scene, and it was filled with cats and dogs. So amazingly, I don't even think they've dispersed the masks yet. And it was like the call back to the firehouse going, those donations that bring them over here.
Wow.
So it was amazing because also the neighbors knew, nobody knew the number, but they knew there were animals in that house. And so the firemen had pulled in and blocked off the street, right? They always make sure there's no traffic going through. They had blocked it off. The neighbors would go to the front door as the firemen were in. And again, animals will hide. They don't walk up to you when you open up the front door. They don't go, oh, fresh air, I'm coming out. They have to go find them. The cats are like under the sofa, under the bed, behind the TV. So as they're finding them, coming to the front door, the neighbors were coming to the front and give me one.
Wow.
Give me one. The front of the house turned into a triage center. It was so cool. And they were using the masks on.
Wow.
Yeah. So because it worked out so well in 17 for Allentown, then we went 18, we did Bethlehem. Last year, 19, we then outfitted the Easton area. And so really all the major players in the valley are all outfitted with the oxygen kits. So that brings us to this year, 2020.
Which you have a new goal going for 2020.
Amazing.
19 was amazing. 19, we finished up the oxygen kits. 19, in the last few years, people had talked to me about really acknowledging that this was going to be an annual, we weren't just doing
finally coming to terms with
Yes.
the fact that you weren't going to get out of this anymore.
Instead of coming to you and be like, oh, it's that time of year?
It's that already. It's my birthday.
I don't think I've ever heard of a charity start because of a great party. It usually starts.
That's a sick way to
because
start
it usually starts with I have a couple of really amazing things that I'm very interested and passionate about helping with, and now I will start something really fun to get people to come along. But it was really like you didn't start this; the community started it. The community started it for you and just put it on you, and then you found amazing things that you cared about.
I threw such a sick party, it started a foundation.
Yeah.
And now animals are alive today because of it.
It all started with a birthday party.
Yeah.
Yes. Careful how you celebrate your birthday.
Could start a movement.
But yes. So 2019, we started, did all of our paperwork for Gail Hoover Foundation, our own 501c3, which just blows me away.
Yeah.
Like, wow, how do you go from, I just sell houses, people.
And starting a 501(c)(3) is not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not a simple thing where I can just be like, I'll just start a charity.
Yeah,
it's not simple.
No, not at
So
all.
that was a new commitment for you.
Yeah.
Despite the demeanor of the conversation, it's not that easy.
Well, it certainly takes a village to do everything that has accomplished here.
And you've had a lot of great people, your board, a lot of people behind you that have helped.
My board is phenomenal, and let me give him a shout out here. We have Marisol Sosnowski, Joan Walco, Jackie Ferris, Jeff Barber, and Lee Laubach, and myself. And the skill sets that everyone brings to the table, and there's also Becca Berner. Everybody is just. We're all people.
Yeah.
We're all really people. So again, we only just became the Gail Hoover Foundation in September, and we're doing this now in January. So we really are just kind of creating this now and figuring out our roles and where we want to go and what we want to do. But I mean, how dynamic of a board is that?
And the dynamic
amazing.
volunteers that you have.
Yeah.
Because you have an amazing group of volunteers that have just the overwhelming support of the community when you decided to make this an official foundation was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the launch party at Rebel was like phenomenal, right? I mean, but our volunteers for the bash, actually, the story, she gets embarrassed if I say it in front of her, but she's just kind of behind the scenes person. But for the longest time, I've always done the bash by myself. All the lead up stuff was just always done by me, and then the village came together the day of. But coordinating the restaurants, finding the venue, just everything was always done by me. And 18. A woman came up to me at a chamber event. She introduced herself and she said, I would like to help you with your birthday bash. I see it blow up on Facebook all the time. It looks like so much fun. And I was like, so what would you do to help me? Like, what would you? And then she said, well, she introduced, I'm Kathy Sanders, and I'm the event planner at the Hotel Bethlehem. Wow. okay, well now that's an event planner, right? So, we talked about it a little bit, and then, how to get on with the program for the evening. And then that stayed in my head that Kathy would like to volunteer, but every time I thought about that, I thought, oh boy, I'm not really sure how that partnership would work, because she's so detailed and she's so, oh my. And I'm always winging everything each year. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Sure, let's do it, So it kind of sat with me. I had to sit with it for a few months, and then finally I followed up. And I Facebook messaged her, said, circling back around to your offer to help. Would you still like to do that? And about 5 minutes later, pop up again. Yeah, I was serious. I'd love to. And then I felt like, now I'm committed. But it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. We are, in some degree, we are absolutely cut from the same cloth. But where we're not of the same, we are like polar opposites, But the two of us really acknowledge where we are polar opposites, and we really respect and allow the other one to do what comes naturally to them. And so this last one, 19, Kathy was helping to create a bash where she had never gone to the bash. And which is, makes it a little difficult, but what came out of our joint effort was just beautiful. Was beautiful. So now this year, as we're getting ready, now Kathy's really kicking into high gear, because now she's experienced the bash, And then the other volunteers, Marisol is actually on the board, plus also on the bash committee. We always joke about she's my hold my beer gal. I'm always coming up with the idea. It's like, hey Marisol, what do you think? So I learned to give it a shot, to delegate a little bit by bringing Kathy on. And that has really opened up the possibilities to what's happening this year.
Was it scary at first to delegate and to kind of give control over to some other people?
Absolutely.
And to recognize the necessity of that?
Absolutely. A little scary. How's that going to work? What's that going to look like? Not really sure. How are we going to do this? But it has come together absolutely beautifully. And so this year, the year itself, 2020, is just a really great vibe, right? 2020.
Yeah.
And then really kind of cool is I turned 60 this year. So this
is a big bash.
That's a big one.
That's a big
birthday bash this
This
year.
is epic,
Yeah,
man.
bash
This one,
to end all bashes.
Yeah.
This is pretty exciting.
the bash beyond all bashes. This is going to
So
be
this is the 8th or the 9th birthday. This is the 8th. It's happening in March.
Saturday, March 21st.
March 21st, and you're doing something really crazy. You're taking the animals and saving lives to a whole new level.
Absolutely. Everything, year after year.
Every year. Just bigger. Just
It gets
bigger
kicked
and
up
better.
a notch.
Go big or go home.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely. So what we're doing this year is in September, Allentown lost one of our canine police officers. And so the police chief connected with me, and he said, I know each year you do this charity thing, you help first responders, you help animals. Do you think you could help us raise money to get another canine officer? All right, let's have that conversation. Let's talk about that. So we got everybody at the table. We got the mayor, we got some city council folks, the police chief, myself. We all sat down at a table like this, and it was, all right, so talk to me about this. What exactly do we need? How much money is a dog? And a dog, between the dog, paying to train the dog, paying to train the officer, and then the joint training and other things that they need, can cost anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000. Oh, okay, all right, that's a chunk, but okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And then as we were sitting at the table, I said to Glenn Granite, the police chief, it was like, okay, so let's skip the idea of the money. Let's forget about the budget. Talk to me, what does Allentown need? You know, in that perfect world, what would you like to see? How many dogs should we have? What Allentown, the size, third largest city in the state of Pennsylvania, what should we really have? So then he got talking about it and said, well, there are drug sniffing dogs, there are explosive dogs, and then there are the bad guys running away, go get them, the takedown dogs. And in a city our size, we should have 5. Okay,
How many do we
alrighty.
have?
So right now in service we have 2.
It's not the same
That's
number.
not
Yeah.
the
It's
same
not good.
number.
It
We
does
gotta
not
get that
match.
number to equal.
We have met Silver, who identifies accelerants and explosives,
Mhm.
and Silver can identify about
Silver
50.
is a dog, by the
50
way.
is the
different-
arson dog.
The arson
Yeah.
dog,
The arson
who can
dog.
identify about 50 different accelerants.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
The
But
arson.
that's for the fire department,
Yeah.
and that's for
So that's separate.
Yes,
So that's separate.
So again, we have drug sniffing and bomb, explosive kind of stuff, and then takedown. Okay, so even to add to this story,
Mhm.
the 2 that are in service are 6 and 8 years old.
Yeah.
And because they're run pretty hard, they work.
Yeah.
They work a lot. 8 to 10 years old is pretty much their service. So some people
They're getting
might
their
say
pension after that.
that we actually need 5 dogs, even though we
Right.
still have 2 in service.
Still, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you got to start raising
Yeah.
money so that So then that made me question, just as we did with the oxygen kits. We went from Allentown, we rolled to Bethlehem, we rolled to Easton. Wonder how Bethlehem's looking. Wonder how Easton's looking. And I found out that they're both down from what their optimum should be. I met with the board, because now I have a board.
That must sound
So-
very cool to say, to be able to say.
yeah, but I have to
So
remind
know the
myself.
board.
Because I'm used to just making decisions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yep, we'll do that. No, I'm not interested. Yeah, we'll do that. No, I'm not. And so now I have a board.
Now you can.
So I have to talk to the board.
They have to rein you in.
Yeah.
Reining me in is not an easy thing. But so we discussed it as a board, and our first major fundraising project is going to be to across the valley, is help all of these departments get up to where they should be with their canine police.
That's awesome.
So that's what we're doing. And it is amazing because one of the company, this like the amazing and the amazing and the amazing just keeps rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a press conference that the foundation was going to help raise the money for the canines. And then it was a couple of weeks later, I get a message from a woman. Her and her husband own a company, fragrance manufacturer, up by the airport. So we get on the phone, start talking about it. And here, as a company, at the end of the year, and a lot of companies, a lot of corporations do it, will make charitable donations.
Mhm.
And what they do is they appreciate their employees so much. They ask their employees for suggestions as to where those donations should go. And they've done a lot of the pet rescues and stuff throughout the years. But one of their employees caught the press conference that the foundation was going to be raising money for canine police, and he suggested us.
Wow.
And she said, this really caught my attention, because animal rescue children, it's kind of all the same thing, used to, and this really stuck out, like, wow, what's going on here? So we spent, 45 minutes on the phone, and so she said, well, so, what exactly, how much does it cost to get a dog? Because I said, we need enough for 5 units to get started. And, between 15, 17, 18. All right, tell you what I'm going to do. All right, I'm all ears. And she says, I would like our company to sponsor a dog. Yeah, I'm going to donate $17,500 for a dog.
Wow.
So one of the units, boom, and one donation from FMI up at the airport, by the airport. One unit is taken care of, $17,500.
So we're off to a good start.
We are off to
2020.
And that's what I mean. Like every time, like amazing. Things just keep so.
At this rate, you're gonna have 12 dogs by the end of the year.
That would be an excellent problem to have. That would be an excellent problem to have. Which we welcome that problem. But we're basically 60 days away from the bash. And we've got one dog spoken for.
That's awesome.
So now, the big push is the sponsorships and the tickets and auction items and all that stuff.
The really fun part of organizing an event.
Yes.
It is cool knowing. So I feel like there's a lot of big charities today where you're kind of like not sure, like you hit a button on the internet where you donate like $5 and you have no idea where that goes.
Yeah.
And you're like, that might be someone's bonus or something even. It's like there's a couple of charities that have been known to do that.
Do you think the pendulum may swing in the other direction where people go back to feeling better about hedging their bets on a charity like this, where they can literally come to your party and they can see where it's going. And then
in 5 years, when that dog chases them down and is biting their arm, I helped with this.
I helped pay for this.
Don't bite so hard! I cut that check.
Instead of like a Kickstarter where you're just like, I have no idea.
Yeah, or just
where this is gonna go.
The money is raised here in the valley. The money is spent here in the valley. It supports the valley. And that was one of the things when I first started doing this is just that I really want this to be a valley thing, to take pride into it and own a piece of it. The arson dogs, we'll be doing it with Judge, our original arson dog, and now Silver. Even part of their program is to go into the schools and talk about fire prevention with the kids. The causes, the holes that I have come across to plug, are really grassroots Lehigh Valley issues that when whether you cut the check for $25,000 or $25, it's all here. It's all here, and it's helping the quality of life here for us.
That's awesome.
It is. It's cool.
Amazing.
So I'm 60 days out. I have no idea what's going to happen in these next 60 days. The venue for this year's bash is what was called the Lehigh Valley Club. Currently, it's called the Community Music School. It's on Hamilton between 15th and 16th. It's across the street from the Scottish Rite. And it used to be owned by the Masons. It was their social hall. So there is a ballroom, which is pretty cool. And there is a cocktail lounge. And there used to be a huge commercial kitchen. So when the Community Music School took it over, they took out the commercial kitchen. They don't need that. And they partitioned off small little practice booths for the kids to practice their instrument. But because it's a music school and you need a place for a recital, they maintain the ballroom. The only thing they've changed in that is the carpeting, is the flooring. And then there is this lounge, this cocktail lounge. And Max Hess was one of the members of this social club. Max brought in one of his favorite designers, late 70s, 77, 78, somewhere there. Brought in one of his favorite designers from Manhattan to just redo this lounge for the club. It is so over the top. And now that the community school has it, they have maintained the lounge exactly as it was when Max walked out of there the last day. And that's where our VIP hour is going to be. The actual venue is the VIP, because most people have not been in this club, certainly not sitting in these booths for close to 30 years.
Wow. So that's going to be an experience in and of itself that you're bringing to the bash, which is not just, we didn't just rent out any, concert hall or space or whatever to do this. This is somewhere where, like, this is the only time you will have been in this space.
We're double not invited to the VIP.
And we're double not invited to it, It's so
I'm going to dress
important.
up as a waiter or valet so I can get in. I'm going to, like, Ocean's 11, like, myself into this.
Yeah.
So that's the VIP, is in the lounge. Which is just phenomenal. And Kathy's idea was really cool, to kind of go along with this 70s vibe. We're going to do whiskey sour fountain.
Yeah.
We're going to do hors d'oeuvres that were like Swedish meatballs, things that were trendy back in the 70s, stuff that they probably served there. So that's that. Oh, there's even a piano. There's Baby Grand in there. And we've got a piano player.
Everyone's going to be smoking.
No.
Chain smoking.
We're not going back that far. No.
Not that far.
No.
We're picking and choosing.
We do have limits.
Drinking alcohol will be illegal.
Yes, legal. Especially with the police chief in the house, right? Okay, so we want to be legal.
It's not prohibition.
So that's our VIP. And then we move everyone into the ballroom for the bash itself.
That's so cool.
It is
That's
very
gonna be really cool. You showed us pictures the other day of the space, and it is very over the top.
Over the top. Typical Max fashion. It is so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
It's gonna be great.
So that's what we have in store for the 21st.
Yeah. And anyone can buy, other than us, anyone can buy a ticket. Which, other than us, no one else is.
We are blacklisted, so if that's a selling point, we won't be there.
that's
All right, and
probably
you can purchase those tickets on the Eventbrite. You can look up Gail Hoover's Charity Birthday Bash.
And they're not that expensive. It's only $60 to $100 a person, and that money goes towards.
If you combine it, the VIP and the bash itself, it's $100. If you're coming for just the bash, which is from 7 to 10, I mean it's a night out. That is $60.
And all that money goes towards the charity.
Right.
So you know that you're partying for a good cause.
Yeah, and you know exactly what that good cause
really
is.
go hard
exactly
at
where it's going. I would gladly pay $60 to $100 if it means that we get a dog that's going to save 1 billion lives in my neighborhood.
I don't think they've promised that.
That's a large estimate. That's a
billion.
That's a seventh of the
I'm gonna go at least,
population. I don't know
even if it
not that
saves
many
one
people in
life, that's a very
Okay, I can.
We can drop down to 1.
I'd pay $60 to $100 to save a life.
It is. It's very cool. It's and like I said, for the Lehigh Valley to be a part of that and to own that, that's really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's what we're busy creating right now.
You're doing amazing work, and I think the Lehigh Valley is better for it. And I appreciate everything that you've done and will do in the future. And I look forward to.
We have no idea where that future is going to take us at all.
Next year's not happening until someone DMs Gail does.
She wrote on the 501(c) that it has to be like renewed yearly, based on if people make her do it again. I have to do the foundation again next year. Well, thank you so much, Gail. And if people want to get involved, they can go on the Gail Hoover Foundation Instagram page, the Facebook,
Foundation.org,
and the website. Yes. And you have merch. You can donate, and then you can also volunteer.
Sure, love our volunteers. I have learned to delegate and embrace volunteers. Yes.
Awesome.
It's a good time. Yes.
Well. This has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming out and talking with us. Actually, we're the ones who showed up at your office.
Really? I didn't go out.
You
came in.
You came out of your office.
We didn't even let you know we were coming. You just said that you would do it. We just set up in your offices.
The ambushed you. It's an ambush interview.
Is a good word.
We're like, we're here for a meeting about a house with Gail Hoover, and then you came in. We're like, ready to do a podcast.
Why are they setting up mics? Thank you for talking with us.
Sure.
And thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Poorly Edited Podcast. Signing out.